Hello, we're starting off our year-end coverage by updating our sumo tiers. Stop throw!
Roll the salt, get in the ring. Welcome to the Dohyo.
Hello and welcome back to the Dohyo here on MrJWags channel. Yes, we are starting our 2023 end-of-year sumo coverage by updating the charts of our tiers. Here at the Dohyo, we do not do a linear, a Banzake-esque 1, 2, 3 ranking, but instead we look at sort of the whole Banzake, and we divide up every wrestler's true talent level into sumo tiers. A couple channel updates. Number one, we have launched our very first Kickstarter fundraising drive. So if you have not yet, do check out the Dohyo's 2023 holiday type Thing-a-ma-Ganza. If you haven't checked it out, check out the video. All the details are there. It is linked below, so do check it out if you can support the channel this holiday season. And the other quick channel update, yes, I do sound a little bit different. I have just found out that I've tested positive for the latest COVID variant, and we are having a whole lot of fun doing my two favorite things, which seem to be coughing and creating mucus. But I promise I am still healthy enough to sit here in the corner with the radiator and update the charts of my tiers.
We're out here breaking hearts and chasing all my fears. Welcome to the charts of my tears.
Now we have 6 tiers this time out, one fewer than last time. We've done a bit of movement since the last rankings. But as always, be very aware that the recency bias is going to be a very large part of any of these rankings. Of course, like a year ago at the year-end rankings, Takayasu did great because he had 2 consecutive Jun Yusho. Well, we have another wrestler right now with 2 consecutive Jun Yusho, so he's going to look really, really good in these rankings. Tier number 1, Alpha Dog. Who is the Alpha Dog in modern sumo? No one. No one right now. So, speaking of the recency bias, last time we did these rankings, Terunofuji had just won at his last tournament. So, he of course, had retaken the Alpha Dog. Things were going to be great for the rest of the year for Terunofuji. No, in fact, he has not yet completed a tournament since then. And I am very, very worried about his future. He is expected in the ring in January, but until I see something out of him or anyone else being ready to grab that title, there is no Alpha Dog in sumo right now. Now next, Tier 2, Yusho Contenders. These are Rikishi who I would not be surprised if they ended up winning a Yusho next year. Takakeisho, Kirishima, Hoshodyu, Daieisho, Kotonowaka, and Atami Fuji. Now, of course, we have all 3 of our Ozeki up there because, of course, they won tournaments this past year. In fact, 2 of them won multiple tournaments. So yes, I would not be surprised if any of our Ozeki win tournaments in the next year. Daieisho and Kotonowaka. Now, Daieisho has already won a Yusho, and Kotonowaka has started pushing through and started getting double-digit wins regularly up in the Sanyaku. I think next year we are going to see a big jump out of Kotonowaka and his very first Yusho. And as I just mentioned, Atami Fuji has finished the year on an absolute tear with 2 consecutive 11-4 Jun Yusho. Yeah, I would not be surprised if Atami Fuji won his first Yusho next year. I would be a little surprised if Atami Fuji makes Ozeki, as I mentioned in my last episode. Other than Asanoyama, all of our recent Ozeki made Ozeki a year after their Sanyaku debut. Now, Tier 3, which I like to call the Yonaku Joy Line. Now, we have a few wrestlers that seem to regularly get winning records up in the Joy and the Sanyaku. These are guys who I expect to cycle in and out of the Sanyaku every now and again, and if they do drop down out of the Sanyaku, I expect them to bump back up with the quickness. In this tier, we have Wakamoto Haru, Abi, Asanoyama, Takayasu, and Uda. Now, last time we did the tiers, I had this sort of split up into 2 separate tiers, under 30 and over 30, but at this point, I think we've just got them all in one group. Now, Wakamoto Haru, of course, has dropped down from the previous tier, as of course has Asanoyama. They have not had a very successful end of 2023. And now I have both of those guys sort of in a place where it's like, I think they both could win a championship, but next year I would be surprised if either Wakamoto Haru or Asanoyama won a Yusho. Now, Abi, love him or hate him, but you cannot deny the results. The guy just sticks up there in the Yonaku Joy Line, and he seems to be able to get 6 to 9 wins every tournament just to keep hanging out up there. So yes, he's got one trick in his arsenal, but it seems to work well enough to win over half the time. Now, Takayasu, it all depends on whether or not he's going to be able to bring his A game, but he has shown by the end of the year he will not give up and can still get double-digit wins up in the Joy. And Ura, well, he just got his very first winning record up at Maegashira 1, so it looks like he will be making Komusubi for the very first time. And if not, 8 wins at Maegashira 1, I don't need the Komusubi to tell me he's worthy of Sanyaku. I know it in my heart. He makes the tier. In tier 4, Your Joy Chorus. Now, these are wrestlers who I would be very, very surprised if they ever got like Akachi Koshi up in the Sanyaku, but I would also be very surprised if these guys hung out in like double-digit teen Maegashira for a while. If I see any of these guys down in low Makauchi without being hurt, I expect them to bump back up into the single digits of Maegashira in the next tournament. And this would be Tobizaru, Shodai, Nishikigi, Midori Fuji, Matake Yumi, Hokuto Fuji, Hirado Umi, Meisei, Gonoyama, and Shonan no Umi. Yeah, this tier's gotten a bit bigger than before. A bunch of people from the Yonaku Joy Line have been demoted down here. Most famously, Shodai and Matake Yumi, our former Ozeki and champions. I would love it if either of these guys could give me just a little bit more in the ring and could show that, yeah, we can get back up in the Joy. Yeah, we can definitely be up there and like, no, I just don't think it's going to happen. I think these guys are just a little bit too old. I expect them to slide into that Kota Shogiku role, that sort of pre-Uncle Sumo role of just being like, yeah, I'm going to be like the mid-level boss you have to reach before you start reaching the Sanyaku Joy level. Now, Tobizaru, Nishikigi, Hokuto Fuji, these guys have all been up at Komusubi recently and have not been able to hold it. These guys are all super fun wrestlers, but I just don't see, I don't want to say discipline, because they're all very disciplined, but it's just the consistency in the ring. Their styles of sumo have so much chaos, I just don't see them being able to pull down double-digit wins against the best sumo wrestlers in the world. With guys like Hirado Umi and Midori Fuji, their case, it's just, I think it's their physical limitations. If they ever get up to the Joy, I just expect them to get smacked on back down. But again, like, they're incredibly good wrestlers for their size and for the level of sumo they are wrestling at. It's just, you don't see a lot of guys that size making the Sanyaku. Definitely not staying up there. Now, Meisei has had an interesting year. Of course, he had the eyelid surgery, which in the short term seemed to do very good things for his sumo. But he hasn't shown the ability to do what he could do like a couple years ago. It's like hang up at that Joy Sanyaku line. For me, he has definitely dropped down a tier, and I need to see more from him before I can pop him out of that. And Gonoyama and Shonan no Umi. Now these guys, I feel like they've aged out of what is going to be the next tier a little bit. But they have shown themselves good enough to be able to get 7 and or 8 wins right there at like Maegashira 7, 8, 9. And I would be surprised if they dropped down to like Maegashira 12, 11 and hung out there for a while. I would be shocked if either of those two guys went back to Judio next year. Now they are a little long in the tooth to be rookies, but they have had an incredible debut this year, and I expect them to stay up in mid-Maegashira for the rest of the year, and maybe we can see them bump up a tier by midway next year. Next tier, show me the Sumo Young Man. These are wrestlers who are under the age of 25 who I believe still have a jump in their sumo. Now, this doesn't even count for guys like Hoshoryu and Atami Fuji. We've already given them a tier, but these are guys who I think are not quite at that level. Now, I won't be bringing up Haku Oho here. Haku Oho and like Wakataka Kage and all the guys who are coming back from injury. I won't be putting them on the tiers until I see them wrestle a full 15-day tournament. And for Wakataka Kage, that means he needs to come back up from Makushila to Judio. But the wrestlers in this tier are Hokuseiho, Kota Shoho, Oho, and Onosato. Now, 3 of these guys have been up in Makauchi for a little bit, Kota Shoho for a couple of years at this point, but they have not given us the consistency we would hope for these young hotness. And Onosato, the only thing holding him back right now is experience. He has not yet hit his ceiling in sumo, but because he hasn't gotten to Makauchi yet, he will in January. But because I haven't seen him in Makauchi yet, I'm not quite sure of where we can place him in the higher tiers. So for right now, Onosato, show me the Sumo Young Man. And the final tier, tier 6, they are who they are. Low Maegashira. Now, these are just guys who have hung out in the Maegashira rank. These are guys I do not expect to drop into Judio over the next 3 months, but if they were to bump up to the Joy to face the very best sumo wrestlers, I would almost certainly expect them to get bumped back down into double-digit Maegashira land. They are led by 2-time former champion Tamawashi, Ryuden, Sadano Umi, Miyogi Ryu, Endo, Takanosho, Onosho, Tsurugisho, Ichiyamamoto, and Kinbozan. This tier has gotten a little bit bigger since last time as well. Most of you are probably going to be a little bit worried about the inclusion of Onosho and Kimbozan, two relatively younger wrestlers, but Onosho has never fully recovered from those knee injuries he got in his very, very early 20s, and I have never seen him excel at the top of the Maegashira ranks since then. And Kimbozan, very new, very hyped, made his debut, and he has sort of plateaued a bit. I have him a little bit underneath some of the Show Me the Sumo Young Man younger types because he's 26 now. He's now officially in his peak. So, if he's going to get a leap from here on out, it's going to have to probably not be a leap of physicality, but a leap of mentality and heart. Let's see if Kimbozan has that, but until I see it, he's going to be here in the lowest tier. Thank you so much for watching. Everyone please like and subscribe. That just gets the Dohyo throughout the YouTube algorithm. If you agree or disagree with me, let me know in the comments. Let me know your opinions on my opinions. And please stay tuned to the channel as much as my COVID-ridden body will allow me. I will be finishing up the year-end coverage and getting this all out before the next tournament, and you're not going to want to miss that. So everyone, stay safe, stay strong, and unlike me, stay healthy. And I will see you next time on the Dohyo.